What's going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Tinkup here. You are listening and watching, maybe, The Barf. This is a look back at the week that was, so you could be prepared for the week that is. Mr. William, how in the world are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. This is the first weekend I've been home in a couple weekends, so glad to be home, getting some stuff done, blah, 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 blah. All good, man. Thanks.
That was a good explanation. Blah, 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 blah. My cadence is weird today.
Is it? Is it?
As I'm talking, I feel like I'm talking in two words and pausing.
Well, that's good for some people. So maybe. let me pitch you this story, Ryan.
Kick
you
us
ready
off.
for some breaking news?
I'm ready for we need a break. Breaking news.
Breaking news, Ryan. 10,000 unionized hotel workers walked off the job on Labor Day weekend after contract negotiations stalled. This was on New York Times. So you can see that they did it in major cities, of course. Like Topeka wasn't impacted.
No. Boise, Idaho, not impacted.
Yeah. No. Major cities. 10,000, big number. So if you want to read more about the story, go to the New York Times. It does a really, really good job of kind of showing both sides of the argument. Yeah. Well timed. So the first thing that came to mind when I read this was Labor Day weekend, big travel weekend. You know what? This is a really, really well-timed strike.
I thought it was just coincidence. It just they didn't look at the calendar; it just happened to fall on Labor Day.
You want to do it on Saturday? All right, okay, yeah, sure. These people are smart, man. Yeah. So I'm glad I wasn't traveling that day. Check. But in all kidding, put all that stuff aside. I hope this gets people back to the table, and they kind of get this thing hammered out. But it's a 10,000 workers, hotel workers walking off the job.
Good for them. Pretty. That's the purpose of a union. They'll get it done. And you know what? How many times have you gone to a hotel room and walked into a clean room and felt great?
That's right.
But then walked into a dirty room because you left the hanger on your door and you felt like shit when you came back.
That's right. And this impacts everybody, man. This is check-in. This is bellhops. This is all that stuff.
Get them paid. All right. I found this story because my oldest is looking for another job. Because if you remember, I told the story of how they were making $17 an hour as lifeguards, and they've cut the rate to $15 because, well, why not? Right? Let's just shave $2 an hour off and make them reapply for their job. And I just said, forget that. But she's going to work there. We'll figure it out. Anyhow, so I found this story on Aldi. Who plans to raise pay and hire more than 13,000 employees nationwide across all of their stores. And so I found this because she's looking for a new job and looking for something that's going to get her some decent pay. So, start off with some good news here. Aldi is the fastest growing grocer. It's going to raise its national average pay to starting at $18 and $23 per hour. That's pretty good for a grocery chain, someone who's stocking, working in the store. All the employees,
cashier.
Exactly. So all employees that are working more than 30 hours a week will have access to healthcare insurance and paid time off. Cool. So they understand. That. They understand. It's difficult to find people. Let's do something about this. Here's what is really interesting and great for people, especially younger, that are looking for a role to start in. 70% of assistant managers and store managers started as store associates in the store. Here's the big thing: 100% of all of their executive leadership team were once associates in a store.
100%.
According to Aldi, 100% have started in a store. I think that's fantastic.
Why change that? No, it's really wonderful because you got to know how to bring in carts or whatever the bid is, and cashiers and customer service and all that. Even if you work in the meat market or whatever, you learn the company, and then through you learning the company, and you move up to an assistant manager, a store manager. Smart.
Congrats to Aldi. Good job.
I've never been in an Aldi.
Oh no, we've had one open up around here, and
there's one right down. I could throw a rock to the one that's near me.
It's unique. It's a unique experience. It's not your normal grocer.
No, and so I can't really say anything about the grocery experience because I've never been in one. But
food is food. It doesn't matter if it's coming from Wegmans or ShopRite or what. Food is food. They get it from the same people. It's just a different experience. It's just sitting there as opposed to beautiful end caps and stuff.
I love that they're paying people more. I love that they're giving people access to health care and paid time off like that. If we do nothing else, other retailers, hopefully other grocers, will follow suit.
Yep.
Good story. All right, let me give you one, Ryan. It is bad news. Private sector U.S. employers added 99,000 jobs on ADP's payroll system in August, marking the fifth straight month of slowing job creation. That's at adpemploymentreport.com. You can go there and you can slice the data a lot of different ways. So you can see what industries and geographies and all that other stuff. $99,000. This is on ADP's system, which are the largest payroll company in the world. So pretty good. Turns out pretty good data. When I read this, the first thing I thought is this is not good news for incumbents during a presidential election.
No.
You don't want this trend. 5 straight months of slowing job creation. Even if it's 1% up, you just don't want it down 5 months in a row. So I love ADP's employmentreport.com. I love it because they give you the data and then they let you kind of play with the data and slice it. So go check it out. It sucks that it's 5 months in a row that it's slowing job creation. So that sucks. However,
stories can be told both ways. It's slowing jobs, but it's these jobs and, so on and so forth.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
But I agree with you 100%. All right. I've got one here. We talked about a story a long time ago, probably, around joint employers. And at the time, we talked about, it might have been Jimmy John's or one of those types of things. Anyhow, the U.S. labor regulator says that Amazon is a joint employer of subcontracted delivery drivers in, drumroll please, California, because everything happens in California. So prosecutors at Federal Labor Agency have determined that Amazon is a joint employer of subcontracted drivers who delivered packages for the company in California. So these are drivers that are part of a DSP, so delivery service providers. The Teamsters are the ones that have been pushing the issue. They claim that Amazon, and this is what I think is important for people to understand as they're looking at this. Amazon exercises, they use the word great control over the drivers. So it's in determining their routes, setting delivery targets, monitoring their performance, their speed, all of that stuff is being monitored by Amazon for obvious reasons. They want to make sure their deliveries are getting there on time. But when you do that, you're no longer contracting someone to work at their own pace.
Right.
And so there you go. I think that's an interesting play.
Especially the juxtaposition of how Aldi is treating its employees that are working 30 hours. Right. So you see something like that where you see something really positive, and you see another thing not as positive where people are working but not getting those benefits.
Do you remember the time when you would say, I'm making $20 an hour? You're like, yes.
Dude, crazy.
Ooh-wee.
Yes.
You can't even buy a cheeseburger on that. Literally, you have to work an hour to get cheeseburgers without fries.
That's right. And that's the National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB. So for the folks that want to look that up, go there. And you just type in Labor Department and you can get there. All right, Ryan, let me pitch you this one. Volkswagen workers protesting the company's plan to close some German factories that would impact thousands of employees. This was on Financial Times, ft.com, so you can go read about that. Here's the thing. It's almost impossible to close a manufacturing plant in Germany. I mean, almost impossible. But I believe what's going on, as I read the article, I believe what the manufacturer is feeling the pressure of rising people cost, and they want a cheaper option. Basically, anywhere you could move to Spain, and it would be cheaper. So it's not like Germany has to go to Mexico or China. Right. Volkswagen, they can go to Austria, and it'll be cheaper. They don't have to go too far. Poland. It's just very difficult in Germany because employment in Germany, you think California laws around employment are restrictive. Germany they make California look like it's super, super, super conservative. Like it's that. So I am curious about Volkswagen because they've got a new bus, the Volkswagen bus, the old bus. They've got a new it's been manufactured for the last couple of years in Europe and sold in Europe, but they're bringing it to the States next year. And I drove one for about 6, maybe 9 months. Dude, I loved it.
I don't think it's going to reboot well.
I'll buy one. Yeah,
but that fits you. I could totally see you in the VW bus. Now, truth be told, I've driven in one Volkswagen my entire life. I'm pretty sure, and it was a Passat. That was it, and it was tiny, and I didn't like it.
I had a Fox and a Scirocco, loved it, but the Scirocco would be even better if it was just a beast. But anyhow, the jobs. So the Volkswagen the employees are rising up. They don't want them to shut the manufacturing plant. Something's got to give. Either they're going to have to give, or Volkswagen is going to be forced to move some manufacturing.
So we have some potential German news in the house here. So So the 16-year-old sends a message and says, "Hey, can we host a German exchange student for 2 weeks?" And I said, "Sure.
Dangerous.
Why not?
So dangerous. Yeah. So dangerous.
Why not?
Go ahead."
So I said, "Find out all the details, right? Find out all the details. Let's do it." Turns out the details say she goes to Germany and the student comes here. So they swap for a couple of weeks. Well, I said, "Good, let's do it. Let's see how that works. And we'll see what happens." She found out the details, but we haven't moved any further yet. That was just the other day.
Brother. When his kids were in high school, my brother did it, and they had a wonderful experience.
I'm not against it. I think it could actually be a really good experience. Okay.
There you go.
Got one here. A company called Smart Talent. They are going to be paying $875,000 to settle an EEOC sex discrimination lawsuit. So wanted to talk about this one, not because it's surprising anymore, right? That companies are paying ridiculous sums of money because of stupidity. Yeah. But this is, I think, important for people listening that are still recruiting or are in talent acquisition. From a staffing agency perspective, they want to make sure their clients are happy. They're doing right by their clients. In this particular case, the clients were saying they only wanted male workers for whatever reason, whether they felt the job was male-oriented, whatever the reason is, and the staffing agency complied. They said, "Okay, we're going to search for males, and we're going to send you males." Now, I can see, because I was in the staffing world, I need to make my client happy. I need to make closes. They want this. I go get this. I place. Win-win.
The easiest way to get out of that as a staffing agency is you hear them, and then you send them a mixture of candidates, and then they select.
Correct. Right, and that's where I was going to go with that. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You do what you do, and you send it. Let them make that selection. But when you comply, well, now they're found that they're just as guilty for complying with something that was unlawful.
Well, in fact, it doesn't even look like the company. They don't have any liability. The liability shifts to the staffing firm.
To the staffing firm, correct.
They're the ones that filled the bias.
Yeah,
now,
and
I'm assuming of all of this is a company called Smart Talent.
Smart Talent, yeah, dumb talent should be. Yeah, they're going to go through a rebrand called Stupid Talent. But I would assume the company didn't say in an email, "Hey, only send us mails because
no,
ABC." These are phone calls, right? So there you have it.
Never written down. Hey, just send us guys. Oh, okay. And again, you can hear that as a staffing person and go, absolutely, totally understand. And then send them a slate of candidates, and then if they pick guys, the bias shifts
up to them.
Yep. All right, I got 2 stories. Let's do this first one. Ford becomes the latest company to scale back its diversity and inclusion policies. This was on CNN, so CNN.com, you can find that out. Now, this was actually surprising to me because Ford is a huge American brand that everyone loves. Everyone loves Henry Ford and all that shit. You know, like, it's been around forever. Okay, why did they make this decision? Was it out of customer pressure? Was it board pressure? Like, this thing came from somewhere. And like, as you and I have talked through the weeks, Jack Daniels and John Deere and Tractor Supply, like, we almost can make the justification. Again, we hate it, but we can make the justification that their customers hate those programs and feel that they're discriminatory in nature, and they'll stop shopping there. Now, Ford, everybody buys a Ford. Like,
yeah, I mean,
so I don't understand. It's hard for me to understand the rationale, I guess.
I think we need to go on a journey here and start talking to the talent leaders at the company about this, because if everybody's doing it, there's got to be a reason, right? It's no longer just, Tractor Supply, shitty company, did this. We're seeing the top of top brands now buy into this. So there's got to be a reason, right or wrong.
Meta, Facebook, Microsoft, like, these aren't these damn Fortune 50 companies that are doing this.
Right.
All right, let me pitch this other story to you. Ready? Out of 2 billion global emails sent in Q2, 226 million were spam. 17 million included malicious links. This is worklife.news. Go take a look at the report there. Everyone hates email. Totally get it. News at 11. But 25% of email being spam was a bit.
What's considered spam? How do they define spam?
It was things that, the way that the report reads, it's uninitiated. So things that, again, somebody sends you something that you didn't request. And you don't have a relationship with that person. You can send an email to anybody once. Outside of that, then you have to, here in America, you have to then bend to canned spam compliance. But that's a big number. 25% is a big number. Now, what I thought about as I read that was, will Gen AI impact the numbers? Will they make spam email better? Because some of it, when you look at spam, like, I clean up my spam folder once a week. And when I look at them, I'm like, this Nigerian prince shit, come on, raise your game. So, like, I wonder if Gen AI will actually make some of that not spam, make it more relevant to the person, or not. So I don't know. I don't have anything about it, but I want to track this. I want to see what Q3 is and how many, if this goes up or goes down or whatever. So, anyhow.
Yeah, that would be interesting to follow.
Watch out for spam.
Yeah, I guess. Watch out for spam. Yeah, I'm interested in that one. I want to actually follow that one. Okay.
Are you doing acquisitions?
I'll kick off with acquisitions. How about that? Let's do it.
Let's do it. What do you got?
So, Atlassian. Did I say that right? Atlassian? Atlassian Communications. How do I say that? We're just going to say that company.
Atlassian.
Atlassian acquires Rewatch, which is an AI-powered note-taker, screen recorder, and video hub. Today is not my day with words.
No, you're good.
So what's interesting here is that Rewatch is going to be integrated into Loom, which we all know and love. So that was acquired. Measly $975 million last October. But they're also going to integrate Rewatch into a product called Rovo AI. So this is the big piece that I think for me, because at Jira, this is now going to tie into Jira and take meetings and meeting transcriptions and things like that, and immediately create Jira issues. And Jira is by far the leader in this space for issue tracking and things like that. So this is going to be, I think, a good win across the board. Found this on TechCrunch, so enjoy it, love it.
Smart company doing smart stuff. I love it. All right. Triage acquires medical staffing agency RTG Medical. This is on triagestaff.com.
Mm-hmm.
This is their press release. Medical staffing firm, bigger fish eats smaller medical staffing firm. So this is consolidation in a good way in markets like this. So we like to see this. Medical staffing is huge. I mean, first of all, I did read a report about how behind we are with just nursing hires, and how there's such a
it's always been that way.
It's always been that way. It looks like it's always going to be that way. These are folks that deal in that space, and they're both in Nebraska. So good for them. I love it. Congrats to all involved.
Very nice. All right, these two I know how to say. Paylocity is to acquire Airbase. See, I got them right. Airbase is a spend management solution. So this went down for approximately $325 million. Found this on the Paylocity site, of course. So the acquisition, I think, here is going to help Paylocity with integrating HR and finance functions. So this is historically has been a problem, right? Where are we spending? What are we spending on? What's good? What's bad? This is now going to allow them to integrate the business there and pull that through. So both for labor and non-labor costs, vendor management, budgeting, all of that type of stuff. So I think it's a good play, and good luck to them.
Great addition for Paylocity. Spend management's a big thing. It's a lot of the Oracles and Workdays and SAPs of the world. They all have this type of stuff. So if they're going to move a little bit up market and compete with some of those folks, they got to have some of the same. So it's either you either build it, or you go out and acquire it. So good for them. Good for everybody there. Good acquisition. Okay, so Ryan, are we into research?
We are. We're gonna get learned.
Well, let's do this. This one should rock you to your core.
I can't wait.
1 in 6 companies are hesitant to hire recent college graduates, says Intelligent.com. Intelligent.com, you can go read this report. And of course, I was thinking fucking Gen Z. Great. Intelligent, they surveyed almost 1,000 business leaders, but it's 966 to be exact, involved in hiring decisions at their company to explore attitudes towards recent hiring of Gen Z college graduates. Jarring stats. Let me give you 3. 75% report issues with recent college grads hires. 60% had to fire a recent college grad this year. 58% of hiring managers say recent grads are unprepared for the workforce.
You can't even flip that and say, well, 25% did a great job.
Nope, there's nothing good.
They're just shitty numbers. Wow.
Those numbers hurt.
Yeah.
Those numbers hurt, and all of our kids are in Gen Z. So
I can tell you this. If you had, mine are younger, right? They're younger. But if you had to take them even at the age they are now in their teens, they would not be prepared. 100% not prepared.
But not prepared, and then not wanting like this is an issue. People not like getting a bad rap. Okay, I get that. I get that. But not wanting to hire them. Like 1 in 6. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
So the numbers are the numbers, and I agree with that just because I live with them. But
yes,
do you think it's the separation, too large of a separation between the generations in the workplace? There's 5 generations in a workplace, right? So is there too much of a separation where the ones doing the hiring are just like, you're my grandkids right now, and no, I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I think there's a little of that because the expectations of, let's say, Gen X, the expectation of Gen X is like, okay, you're going to work, right? The expectation of Gen Z is not quite, they're just not the same. Period in the story. So I think there's a little bit of that. Yeah, I think that's fair. But still, those are big numbers. And if that's millennials that are saying that that would really shock me.
We used to bang on millennials for that.
Oh, I know.
Now they're like, you ain't working.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. All right. Did you ever hear of faux-ductivity? Faux-ductivity. I love this.
Now, that's new.
This is fantastic. So I had to reach out. I reached out to the people at WorkHuman because, I don't know, man. I laughed when I read this. So almost 4 in 10 leaders admit to faux-ductivity. This is a research report by WorkHuman. So 4 in 10 of C-suite executives, 38% and 37% of all managers admit to faking activity, compared to 32% of non-managers, 33% average of all respondents. So 3,000 full-time employees in the U.S. and U.K. and Ireland. This is where the research was.
That's a big sample.
This is faux-ductivity. This is faking your work. This is mouse jiggling. This is fake typing with the quarters on your keyboard. This is like all of that stuff. 4 in 10 C-suite executives say, yes, I do that.
That hurts.
Faux-ductivity. I want a t-shirt, and I think WorkHumans should make that t-shirt and send it to us that says faux-ductivity.
Faux-ductivity.
I love it.
All right. Let me pitch you this one. Recent immigrants to the United States are more likely to be in the labor force, with more than 66% working or looking for a job compared to 62% of American-born U.S. citizens. This is from the Wall Street Journal. So you can go there and read a little bit more about it. And, the narrative of they're coming for your jobs, turns out they're coming for your jobs.
If you don't want the jobs, anybody will take them.
That's the whole thing. As I read this, and first of all, the article is fantastic. So please go read it. But we're a nation of immigrants. We've always been a nation of immigrants. We're going to continue to be a nation of immigrants. Immigrants do the stuff that we don't want to do. So, it's not shocking that immigrants come in and work or are looking for work. None of that should shock anyone. But they're doing the work that no one else wants to do. So which means that work has to, like stripes on the highways have to get painted.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I've never wanted to do that. So, but this report really digs in about the U.S. kind of job market and how it's shifting towards immigrants.
Yeah.
And a preference towards immigrants because they're going to do the work.
I know we're not political here at all, but we are a nation of immigrants, right?
100%.
I get it. Illegal versus legal. Got it, right? I'm on the legal side. I want that, right? Totally got it. But if you're going to hate on people for coming to a country to live, when that's how you got here, your family at some point got here, and then you don't want to take the job and you're unemployed.
Right.
Don't eat. That's all I got to say. Don't eat.
On my mom's side, my family immigrated here in 1621, 150 years before the country was a country. But they were still immigrants.
Still immigrants. Yeah. And I know this is a divisive topic. Fully aware of that.
No.
But if you're unemployed, and you don't want to work on a farm or paint stripes or do whatever, and an immigrant comes and takes that job, whether illegal or legal, that is your fault.
That's on you. That's on you, homie. You want to bale hay?
Yeah.
Well, somebody does.
This will be the last show that I ever get to do. I'm going to get crushed on that. But anyhow.
No.
All right. So this is something you've been saying for a long time. I have to give you your credit and bow down to you for whatever reason.
Whatever. That stuff. Yep.
Study arts and humanities because you love them. And so do employers. So this was, I don't know where the original was. I found it on The Guardian. But you've been saying this all along. Humanities graduates. So these are the statements I'll make are from the report and from companies and hiring managers. Humanities graduates stand above the rest in skills like problem solving, critical thinking, cultural understanding, which is obviously becoming increasingly sought after in the workplace. Like those are what employers are looking for. So industries like finance, private equity, they now recognize, according to the report, that well-rounded educational backgrounds lead to better long-term outcomes. I think they've always known that. I think now they're just accepting it, that you don't need to have a finance degree to be in finance or an engineering. I mean, some of these you do, right? I get that. But humanities is across the board rising to the top with the most well-rounded college graduates. So maybe, just maybe, if Gen Z comes out with humanities degrees, the workforce will be a better place.
When I got my degree in art history, my family revolted. First
now look at you.
A six-figure job to then go back to college, which I wasn't a great student. And they revolted, like, art history, what are you going to do with that? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Don't care. And what I learned through that degree is, you have to stand in front of everybody. Back then, you'd stand in front of everybody and pin up your work up on the wall, and everyone would tear your work apart. And so you had to defend. First of all, you had to understand critique. You had to be able to give criticism, and you had to be able to understand it.
Right.
And then be able to come back and say, okay, I understand what you're saying. Here's what I think. And then you got to figure it out. Humanities degrees, you know, first of all, they teach you how to think. They teach you how to ask questions. They teach you all those things. So, like, all the prompt engineering that's going to happen, I'd say over the next 3 to 5 years, it's all going to be humanities people.
Yeah.
It's because they know they have the ability to ask questions.
Yeah.
They were taught.
Yeah.
So great. I mean, again, I like the idea of what you said. Do it because you love it. Don't go get an English degree just because you think it's going to be a better prompt engineering job.
Yeah.
Like, go
but
get the
employers do like them better,
one.
so be aware.
They do. All right, let's get into some funding. You ready?
Let's talk dollars.
All right, ready? Okay, we got a couple of these. So let's see here. Let's see. As remote working keeps rolling, Oyster raises $59 million Series D at a $1.2 billion B valuation. TechCrunch. So why we love this, why this is the first story on our funding, the F, is Tony, the CEO of Oyster, was our first guest on Inside the C-Suite.
He absolutely was. And a fun conversation that was.
Fantastic conversation. He was in Beirut at the time. They're all remote. No, they don't have a corporate headquarters. Everybody lives wherever they want, works wherever they want, etc. We fell in love with Tony and Oyster. Wish them all the best. And this is that's a great valuation. Acadian, Jason Corsello and Tom Otter were some of the early investors of Oyster. So congratulations to them as well.
Very nice.
So $59 million. I don't know why people do odd numbers. So
59.35.
We just round up. Just make it easier for the people that are non-math majors.
Yeah. All right. Butler, BUTLR. Butler raises $38 million Series B. Okay. So found this on Yahoo Finance. So this is an interesting one. I like this. This is a spin out of the MIT Media Lab that fuses artificial intelligence with body heat sensing technology. So,
cool.
Yes. So we've been recently, for whatever reason, talking about spatial design, and for whatever reason, it came up a couple of times this past week. And then I saw this. So the idea here is to use thermal insights to understand movement, subtle movements in a space. So think activity, occupancy, like indoor stuff, right? So body posture. So I'm standing straight versus hunched. I'm in the break room, but I'm hunched over. Or I'm within 20 feet or 30 feet of my boss's office, and I'm, postured up. Or I'm sitting in this type of chair and I'm hunched over. My productivity is weak. Is it due to this, right? So there's a whole bunch of really cool things.
The more data you get, The more data you get on the wearables,
yes.
the more you can start to make
connect
dots. Actually, the technology will connect the dots.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is actually pretty cool. I'm going to put this on the follow list. For me, the goal here is to understand the movements, good and bad, to help build a smarter workplace. I love it.
They do a lot of cool stuff with proximity. So good for them. That's a cool company. Thatch announces $38 million Series A of funding to dislodge health insurance from employment, bringing choice and affordability to consumers. This is PR Newswire. Why I found this fascinating is employers don't want to choose employees' health plans. They want to offer high quality plans at a reasonable cost. Thatch makes that possible. Huge fans of this type of health insurance. So good for them. Good raise. $38 million Series A. Nothing to sneeze at. So congratulations.
Go get some lunch, people.
Yeah, Thatch. All right, let's do Airtasker. Now, this is a different type of funding, which I found fascinating. So Airtasker is a gig task skills marketplace. Headquartered in Australia, they're coming to the United States. So the investment that they got, about $10 million, it's 9.75, they got from iHeartMedia and Televista Univision. So they got media investment to fuel their U.S. growth. So this is different than traditional capital. This is media capital, meaning dollars weren't exchanged. However, they get media to then go and fuel their U.S. growth.
I like that.
It's different. It's different. When I read it, I'm like, okay.
It's all good until advertising rates skyrocket, and then you're screwed.
No, I think that's probably baked into the contract.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So Airtasker, look for them. I need to listen for them on media. Looks like a cool play. I went to the website, and it is kind of a cool play. So,
well, as I'm listening and I hear the ad come across, I want to be like, I know.
Yeah, I know.
We were there.
Got your money. Yeah.
All right. BeMe Health raises $12.5 million. So the website is beme.com. BeMe, BEME.com. So this is an app that it's a teen app. So it provides a space for teens, young adults to reach out and stay close to resources. This is a mental health play. So they have check-ins, they have content for them, they have coaching, live one-to-one coaching, digital coaching. They have a whole bunch of stuff in here. So this is built to be a safe space for teens who may not have the support system around them.
Their security's got to be tight on pedophiles. And you know what I'm saying? Like if you create a safe space for teens, dude, it's like
I wasn't thinking that, but that went dark pretty quick.
Well, think about it. If your business model is to create a safe space for children, and there's this entire group of people that want to exploit children.
Oh, I'm with you.
Okay,
I'm with you. Yeah, I just wasn't thinking that, but sure. So anyway, the company they work with health plan, employers, community organizations, etc. They're digital first. This is a team play. I love it. There's a couple of these out there, but there can't be enough. So let's provide all the resources that we can.
100%. All right, we got two last funding news for this week. SkillVue raised a $2.8 million funding for AI-based skills assessment platform for candidates and employees. This is on Yahoo Finance or finance.yahoo.com. So you can go look at the story there. So what I read in this story is AI assessment of human skills does a few things. So it gives you a kind of a real-time view of what you have in skills and what you need. It also trains AI on skills. Maybe even skills that AI will eventually have. So it's kind of fantastic to go. We're releasing the wolf into the hen house in the sense of AI is going to do the assessment of your skills. and they're going to tell you what you are based on your skills, where you need to go, what you need to do, and all that other stuff. And it's going to report back to the company, okay, here's where you are, here's what your employees have, here's what they don't have, etc. But meanwhile, it's going to be learning skills.
On the back end, it's going to its manager and asking for budget to go learn what it's got to do to replace you. Love it.
100%. should terrify everyone.
Love it
on a certain level. All right, so last story is subcontractor rating and performance management platform Trestle raises $2.3 million. This on CNN News, so you can go love this. I love this play because it gives ratings on one side and performance management to a group of people that obviously need, and it's hard to get that data on both.
Mm-hmm.
So the ratings are for customers. So Trestle basically on the front side, here's the different subcontractors, etc., and here's their ratings. But on the back side, what it does differently than what I've seen in the marketplace is it helps the subcontractors understand how to get better. So I mean,
so it takes the ratings and then provides the feedback and the training or recommendation.
That's it, correct. So as a subcontractor, if somebody rates me as a 4, you'll be like, all right, wait, okay, cool, but why wasn't it a 5? They said this. Okay. And then all the training and first of all, now that you know what that is, you can do something with it as a subcontractor. So,
see that I love the use of that. I love the use of that when you have a marketplace of 10,000 contractors and whatever, 10,000 employers that are rating and all this other stuff. There's no need to just dog somebody and move on. All right, let's make them better. Let's make a better workforce. I like this play. I love it. Good find.
There you go.
That's it. We're in and out. We're done. Thank you all for listening, watching, subscribe, love us. If you have a moment, please hit that little rating star button somewhere on whatever app you're using. Give us a 5-star. Love us. We'll see you coming up at HR Tech. We'll see you at FutureWorks. What else? Where else are we going to be? We'll be online.
iSolve Connect.
iSolve Connect. That's right. In October. Yeah. So we'll see you there.